Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a pretty fun looking puzzle here. It's called Dots of the Nine Moons by Skeptical Mario. And it doesn't look like there's a ton of rule sets, but there's a lot going on here. So let's jump into these rules and figure out what is happening. So first off, we have normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains digits 1 through 9 once each. Then we have quadruples, which are these white circles with the digits inside them. So digits in a large circle must appear in one of the four cells surrounding the circle. So in this instance, let's say this 9 here, we know that there must be a 9 at least in one of these four. In these four circles, be a 1 and a 9, so forth and so forth. Then we have difference Kropki. So digits with a small circle separating them are consecutive. Not all dots are given. I don't think I've seen it called difference Kropki before. Maybe there's a determination between the whites and the dots. I'm not quite sure. That's the first time I've heard it called that. So anyway, interesting. Difference. So essentially, the digits separated by this white dot are consecutive. So if this was a 2, this could be a 1 or a 3, something like that. And that's it. So we essentially have two rule sets and a bunch of info scattered about. So with that said, let's jump into this thing. Of course, link is in the description below and all of that good stuff. So where the heck are we going to start? Now, this 9 isn't a great way to start, I don't think, just because we know one of these 4 is a 9, but it's not too helpful. Usually when we're looking at quadruples, I like to try to see if there's any kind of collaboration between them. So like in this instance, we have these two guys must have a 6 in them. So that means we instantly have an X-wing on 6s. And what does that mean? Well, no matter where we put the 6 here, no matter where we put the 6 here, let's say it's here and here, could be whatever, it means that we can never have a 6 in any of these. So one of these must be a 6, but we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So therefore, these two can't ever be a 6. Otherwise, we would break this 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get a 6 down here quite easily. Just have to know where to look sometimes, or get lucky looking at the first thing and finding something out. The next side, we got 1, 3, 7, and 9. We got a 3 and a 3 here. So again, we're going to have no 3s. These can't be 3s because of this one, so we get a 3. Now, this 3 and this 6 are going to be very interesting when it's looking at this set of white Kropki dots. Because in essence, what these Kropki dots are saying is that we have a sequence of 3. It almost works, well, it does work, not almost, it works the same as a Renban line in this instance. So we must have 3 digits that are consecutive. Well, how do you do that if you have a 3 and a 6 looking at this? The only possible combination would be a 7, 8, 9 pair. Because you can't have 1, 2 because you don't have another digit to go for. You can't have 4, 5 because you don't have another digit to go for. So these are 7, 8, 9, and the middle digit will then therefore always have to be 7 or 8. I can talk. So now we can look a little further, I guess, because we have this 5, 6, 7, 8 cell or clue. We can't put a 7 or an 8 here, so they must go over here. And therefore, the other side, we must have the 5 and the 6. Now, do we want to continue up, or do we stay within parameters of our region 8? I'm not sure if we're getting a lot from this guy. We know these would have to be from 1, 2, 3, or 4, but none of those are necessarily ruled out. And we can't even really rule out like this being a 1, which would force this to be a 2, because then you could just push the 2 down here for this quadruple clue. So yeah, I'm not sure there's much there. Maybe we can go further up. It's because the 7, 8 clue does look at this 2, 8 clue, so we know there's an 8 in here somewhere. Now the question is, do I want to mark that? Because we're crossing over regions, and that can get confusing doing markings if you're not paying attention and you don't remember that this has to do with the 8 here specifically. So I'm not going to mark that at the moment. Now this guy, we know it either has to be a 4 or a 7 because it has to be consecutive with 5 or 6. If it's a 5, it can't be 6 obviously because we just put the 6 down here. If it's 6 here, this couldn't be a 5 because the 5's down here. So it has to be the kind of extreme between the 5 and the 6 here. So 4 and 7. Again, what kind of use? Now, I haven't looked across this way. And that would be my dog barking like a crazy lunatic. I'm sure you all can hear that. Yeah. Anything that happens outside, she goes nuts. Anyway, let's move back into thinking about what this puzzle can be. Okay, here we go. We've got a 5 and a 5 here. Same concept as we did looking up. This is looking across the board now. So none of these can be 5. So there has to be a 5 on one of these. Now, this one can't be a 5 by Sudoku. So now this 9 is getting a little bit more interesting, only because we now know that there's also a 5 within this 4 cell here. But that doesn't necessarily tell us anything specifically more about the 9, just that it's starting to get crowded over here. So maybe something like this is going to be of use to us. Although it's not super useful, is it? Because we can easily have a 1-2 pair here. Clearly we can't have a 2-3 or a 3-4, or 7-8 or 8-9, or 6-7 either. But it could be 1-2, or there could be some combination from 4, 5, and 6. And I don't know that we can do much with that at this point. Now, obviously, once we get more information, we can do better. Yeah, again, these have to be from 1, 2, 3, and, well, I guess, okay, maybe I should have looked at this. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in this. These all have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what does that tell us? Well, it tells us, I think what it tells us is we do actually have, I have to think on this if this is actually true, but just looking at it generally, it seems like, do we have an X-Wing in the 1, 2, 3, 4 category? I don't think we can actually say that we do. Because this could easily be one, well, whatever these are, 1 or 2, these are the other ones. So let's say these are 1 or 2, these are 3 or 4. These are also 3 or 4. So we would have an X-Wing on the 3, 4, but not on the 1, 2. And if it was some other combination, you know, even like 1, 3 and 2, 4, we'd have an X-Wing on the 2, 4s. But we can't quite say at the moment that we can rule out much of anything from these guys here. Okay. Now, looking kind of, it's slightly less useful, but it might still be useful, is that we can look at these guys, and we know that none of these could ever have a 1 in them, because we have an X-Wing on 1s. Do we have some kind of benefit from that? The same can be said over here for 8s, so none of these can ever be 8s. Well, I guess that does, it kind of does something, doesn't it? Is it enough to really work with is the question. And I'll explain my thoughts in a second if they prove to be fruitful in any way. I guess they do, and we'll look at it. So let's look at because we looked at the 1s first, let's stick there. So we know one of these 4 and one of these 4 is a 1. So therefore none of these can be 1s by terms of X-Wings. Well, in here you can't have a 1 in any of those either. So we end up having to have a 1 down here. Now, like I said previously, it's not incredibly useful, but we can kind of continue on this thought pattern. Let's do that. We can't ever have a 9 in one of these. I guess we could have thought of it that way as well, instead of looking at it in terms of an X-Wing. Let's go that route, just so there's multiple ways to look at something. Could we ever put a 1, just forget that there is even X-Wing here, of these guys. Could we ever put a 1 in either of these? Well, the answer is yes. Sorry, I'm being stupid. So I guess we do have to stay with this. I was going somewhere completely wrong. I thought it was working out, but it was not. Yeah, so, and I was going to say the same thing about the 9s, but then that would be erroneous as well. So forget I said anything for the last 45 seconds or so. So we end up with what? We know none of these can be 1s because of these. We know these 2 can't be 1s. So there has to be a 1 up in here somewhere. I don't know that that does anything for us. Yeah, not really seeing it. Maybe we can just start looking at what the possibilities are here for in these. I don't know that's going to help us, but I'm kind of out of ideas at the moment. Now, these guys could be from 3, 5, 7, or 9. That's pretty much the extent of it. Let's just kind of put all this stuff in so we get some sense made out of it. Yeah, it's not great. That's not great. Because I don't have anything necessarily that I can start chipping away at some of these. And the same's going to be true over here. I mean, I can put in all these numbers. Although we do have more information down here, so maybe it's worth the risk to go look at this. What can these ever be? And I'm just going to write them out. They could be 2, they could be 4, they could be 6, or they can be 8. Now we know they can't be 8 because of the 7-8 pair, which means these can never be 9s. So there has to be a 9 in one of these 2. Now, if there's a 9 in one of these 2, there can't be a 9 in these. So one of these has to be a 9, but the 9 can't be on a Kropki dot because we have to put an 8 with it. We already have an 8. So this turns this into a 9. So that did actually do something, which is interesting. I've said interesting a few times, I think, this video already. So if these are both 9s, none of these are 9s. We can't have a 9 on here again because we'd have to have a 9-8 pair. So this is 9. Okay. There's something. And we know one of these is a 9. I don't see anything further on that front. Now we do know there has to be a 5 in here somewhere, just because... Oh, a 5 and an 8, actually. Wait, is that true? Yeah, because you can never... There's no way to put a consecutive with the 5 here, so 5s and 8s have to be over here. This can't be an 8. Remember we said that one of these 2 had to be an 8. Well, now this one can't be an 8. These 2 can't be an 8, and we have to have an 8 somewhere. So that's not. This is our 8. Okay, I'm getting little bits and pieces here. That's good. Now on the 2 front, I was going to see if we could figure out where a 2 could go. I don't... Yeah, we can't rule this out as being a 2. Even though I'd kind of like to, but at the end it still doesn't seem like it might do us a whole lot of good. Because this could very well be 2, and this could be 4, 6, and this is 3, 7, and these are 1 and 9 kind of thing. Can we delve any further into this? Because we have quite a few options going on in here. Or digits that we have given here. Now, like I said, this could be a 1, 2. It can't be 2, 3, 3, 4. The problem is, it could definitely be 4, 5, or 5, 6. Now, this one can't be 5, obviously, but... So this can't be 6. Oh, wait, we've got 3, 4, and 5 over here. What am I talking about? These can't be 4, this can't be 5. So therefore, this just has to be a 1, 2 pair. Okay. It's amazing what happens when you look at things and see what the possibilities really are. So this, as we can, now that I see this over here and I'm paying attention to it, clearly there's only one option here. Once we had all of these digits because we couldn't ever do, excuse me, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, or 8, 9. So we get the 1, 2, so which means we can get rid of our 2 here, which means this is not a 1, which means these are just a 1, 9 pair. Get rid of those. Now we know that this is a 2, 5, 8. This can't be 2 or 8, so it is 5. These are not 5s. Now we do know where our 2 goes, because we have to have a 2 in one of these two, but there's a 2 pointing here. So this is 2, this is 1. Let's get rid of that extra mark, because we don't need that. Okay, now we're starting to make a little bit of movement. Of course, I say that, and I'll probably just get shut down now. So where should we? Okay, let's look at the 1s. We've got a 1 up here somewhere, and we got a 1 here somewhere. So none of these can be 1. So we have to have a 1 on here. Therefore, this has to be 1, 2. It means this is 8 and 2. Now we're going to know what these 3 digits are. They are 4, 5, and 6, which means these have to be 4 and 5, because we've got 4, 5 here pointing up into here. So these are 4, 5. There has to be a 3 in here somewhere. In fact, we know what these digits essentially are, so we're going to be able to figure out the rest of this. Maybe we are. I think so. What do we have? We need 3, 7, and 8. Now this can't be 8, but we know, and it can't be a 3 because we know the 3 has to be down here, so this is 7. So we get a 3, 8 pair, and we're going to see this has to be a 6, so therefore this has to be a 5 and a 4. And that's actually going to get to our 7 over here, which is good, because it's going to fix our 6 and 5. And that 7 also gets down to our 9, 7 here. This guy can't be 6, this guy can't be 5, and this guy can't be 6, so we just have a 6. Cool. Starting to get some things coming through now. That's nice. Just seeing if there's anything else on the horizon here. And I don't see anything further in that portion of the puzzle. So let's mosey along to something else. We almost have a quad up in here, but not quite. And what about our 5s looking in here? So one of these is a 5, and the 7's also looking here. So one of these is a 7. Do not have a 6 looking in there, so I can't quite make a determination on that front. Looking up in here, is there anything worthwhile? Because these have to be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. We already have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 1. This can't be 2 or 1. And this can be whatever it wants, really, by this clue here. We have the 2 in the 8 already, so that's not being held back by anything. And no, I don't see anything else. Wait, we have 4 here and 4 in one of these. These can't be 4s. Let's get rid of that. So we have to have a 4 down here, and we also have to have a 6 down here. Because we have a 6 here and a 6 here. Another X-wing going on. So we have to have a 4 and a 6. This can't be 6. Can we do anything else with that, though? I don't think so. 7s, I just saw a couple things here. One of these has to be a 7. Not quite as powerful, because the 7 could quite easily go here. And it could go with an 8, so it's not like I can exclude it up to here, and then we'd have an X-wing on 7s. At least I can't do that yet. It might be possible. Actually, wait, let's put these in and go back to thinking about, do we have a quadruple? And we do. Because these all have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. These all have to be 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 are present. These have to be from 7, 8, and 9. And one of them must be an 8, because they must be consecutive, so it's either 7, 8, or 8, 9. So therefore this must be our 7, and this must be our 8. Therefore We can get rid of these markings. And what did that do for us? Anything good? I'm not quite sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we have to have a 7 over here. That's almost got, I mean, it does give us an X-Wing, but all it's really ruling out is these two not being a 7. We could still have a 7 in any of those 3. Again, it would be nice to be able to rule out all of these as 7, because then we can get our X-Wing and do some things, but not quite yet. So, I need to find one other place to look. And I'm not quite sure where to. Now, is it possible that any of these would cause issues? I guess it isn't possible, really, because we have 2 of them looking this way. What I was saying is, like, this was a 3-4, you know, would it break anything over here? And it won't, because we're going to have a 3-4 in one of these, and the options here are all the same. Okay. Somewhere, there must be another clue I haven't really looked at that's going to be useful, unless there's just something Sudoku based that I haven't. Because I haven't even really looked at Sudoku yet. And we don't have a ton. I mean, we have some digits, but there's not a huge number of them that are all working together. But let's continue to look at them anyway, just in case. Because you never quite know what you're going to find. I'm certainly not finding anything good. I guess one of these has to be an 8. Now, does that rule out our 7? Because we said we can't have a 7 in any of these. The only way we could have had a 7 here was if this was 8. Because we couldn't put a 6 because we know the 6 is down here somewhere. So this can't be 7 anymore, so which means one of these 2 is a 7. And that does give us an X-Wing on 7s. I'm pretty sure that's accurate, so we can get rid of our 7 here. The problem is that still doesn't do much for these options, because removing the 7 is pretty much the only one that I could remove that wouldn't reduce my options over here. So that's fun. Well, we can look at this 5, so there must be a 5 in one of these. So that is something there. That means there has to be 4 or a 6 over here. Again, kind of picking at things. So let me look at some of these other ones, that Kropkis, that I just haven't really bothered to look at yet because they didn't seem like they were going to give me much. Now, is there any way we can just completely reduce what these can be until we have an answer? Well, they can't be 1, 2, and they can't be 2, 3. Because that would break these 2. We'd be using 2 of these, and we'd have the same digit in both of these. Could it ever be 3, 4? The answer is no, because it would break this guy. It could be 4, 5. I guess it could be 5, 6 as well, and 6, 7. It's not a huge number of possibilities here, but there are possibilities. So I said 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all possibilities. This can't be 7. This can't be 6. This can't be 4. So this one can't be 5. It's kind of rooting this down a little bit, but I don't think it did quite enough. And then this one I don't think we can really do anything with at the moment. I mean, we know it can't be anywhere from 5, 6, 7, but it could very well be an 8, 9, or it could be from 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay. All right. So we're gonna keep looking a little deeper, find out where the heck this tricky little clue that I need to continue moving is going to appear at. And I just do a quick look back at my rules just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything, because that does happen from time to time. Don't think so. Can't rule out the ones or the nines pretty much anywhere on this. Again, the 9 can go anywhere in here. We know we've got 7 and 5 over here already. You don't know where the 6 could go. It could go anywhere. These guys. Really, it could be anything. It could be 1, 2, 2, 3, or 3, 4. I'm wondering if there's going to be any correlation between some of these digits. But probably not. At least I don't see so at the moment. We know there's a 1 here, but it's not entirely a great marking. Where is this clue that I need to use? Okay, let's take a quick jaunt down our coloring world. This digit, it can't be the same as any of these, and it can't be this one, so it must be the same as this one. This digit must be the same as this one. Does that do anything for us? Don't think so. Because we can't say what these actually are at this stage. Can we say anything about that? Maybe I'm missing something or not understanding a portion of how these are interacting. Yeah, I don't see how there's a correlation there. Which is clearly slowing me down. There must be something here, though. Because if we were to continue to look at the coloring of this, looking up this way, because they're not sharing, or they're not looking into the same regions going up, that's less powerful. What about down here? I don't think there's anything yet. These can be 1, 2, 4, or 5. This has to either be... Don't know. So... maybe we can look at this in terms of what this could be. Yeah, and I'm kind of grasping at straws here. If this is a 1, 2, no, it doesn't seem, I don't see how that's a correlation there to do anything with the rest of this row. Same with it if it was like a 2-3 or a 3-4. Oh, I've hit a brick wall. Did I miss something in just basic Sudoku that would have gotten me anywhere? Let's see. I didn't think I did. There was nothing on 1s or 3s really, or 4s, so. Fives are a no-show. So we know. So I'm just not seeing anything there. Well, this hit a dead end very quickly. I guess the only one I haven't really looked at is this guy, but I did really briefly check it out, and it didn't seem like there's anything of real value there. Because this, like I said, it could be almost anything from 1, 2, 3, 4, or 8 or 9. Huh. Well then, I have been stuck for quite a while now. And I don't know how to dig myself out of this hole. No. Going back, looking at my quadruples and trying to, oops, sorry, I just smacked my desk, and trying to link them up with any of the other given digits I have and see if there's an X-wing that I just whiffed on. And scanning through, I'm not getting a lot here. Man. No. Oh. I just saw it. I've been sitting here forever, and I think I just found what it was. You've got an X-wing on 8s here. None of these can be 8s. That can't be 8. There has to be an 8 on this thing, and it can't go with a 7, so it has to be an 8-9 pair. I'm sure that was a fun thing to go through, so therefore there's no 9 or 8 over here. Therefore this can't ever be 8. No, it can't be 8. So there has to be an 8 here, which means this is 9 and 8. Okay, hopefully this is all I needed to get me moving again, because I was stuck beyond belief there for a second. That 9 right here is going to give me the 8 and the 9. Okay, now we know we have a 5, 9 up here. Therefore, we know what these 3 digits must be, which is 1, 3, and 4. This can't be 3. We actually have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuple, which means this has got to be a 7. Which is a bit out there in terms of that coming together like that. We know these can't be 3s. Well, I guess if we looked at that, we can say it's just a 1, 2, 4 triple with a 3, 5 pair, but blah, blah, blah. These have to be from 5, 6, 7, and 2. Now, remember, these can't be 5, these can't be 7. And that gave me almost nothing there as well. What are these two? It's 1 and something. 1 and 9. Okay, There is our 9, so we get our 1 and our 9. This is not a 1. And what about in here? What are we left with? It's 3, 4, and 6. And what? Oh, it's 8. Let's do some Sudoku here. Let's try to make our life a little bit easier. 2. Scanning all around now, hoping I'm trying not to miss anything. 2, 5, and 6 there. What about in these rows? Is there anything that is sticking its head out? No, not really. Other than there has to be a 1 in one of these two. I think that was not anything groundbreaking. Okay. Let's not get stuck again here. Do. Okay. Which means one of these has to be 3, which means these can't be 3s. Now this can never be a 4 because I have nothing to pair with. I think my coloring was really kind of worthless, but it was in the throes of battle when I didn't know what the heck was going on. It was worth looking at. So there has to be a 2. Okay, there also has to be a 2 in this if we look at our column. So these can't have a 2 in them. So one of these is a 2. And now this can never be a 1. Really picking at this at the moment. Let's put some markings in here just to make sure we're not forgetting what we're doing and getting ourselves even more confused. So this is either a 1, 2, or a 3, 4. Now is with these limited possibilities, is that going to start doing any issues? This is a 1, 2. This has to be a 4. This has to be a 3, and this has to be a 2. And it's going to be something similar on the other side if it's 3, 4s, really. This is 3, 4. This has to be 1. This has to be 2. This has to be 4. Okie dokie. And thought we were out of the woods. We are not out of the woods. Okay, these can't be a 3. Let's go there. This is not a 2. So this just is a 1, 2 pair. But it's not getting me what I want. We have to have a... No, we don't. This is either a 1, 2 or a 1, 6. And why does that matter? I don't know. Okay. Now, is there anything cutting across on these guys that's going to cause problems? Don't think so. Almost a quad going across both of these. Almost. Man, I don't know what it is. This one, I'm just... Maybe it's late in the day. It is getting kind of late here. Not late, but it's been a day. My brain is not ticking. Must have eaten a drumstick. Bonus points if anyone gets that completely random reference. Oof. This has been a very exciting video, I'm sure, for all of you. Okay, let's look at our clues again. Let's just go through them because I'm clearly missing something. These are all done as far as I can go. These are all done. These are all done. The 2-8 is done. This one, we can't quite get it down to what we want. The 9 is essentially done. Oh, 1-9, there we go. Again, jeez, you must be screaming at me. We have to have a 1 and a 9. This has to be 1, this has to be 9. So this is 5. These are not 1s then. These are not 1s. We get a 2-4 down here and we're moving yet again. Oops, didn't mean to have that one selected. Let's get cleaning stuff up. This can't be a 1. Now that 2-4 is going to finish this. This is 6. Well, not finish it, but it gets things close here. And that 5 gives us our 7. That 7 is going to give us our 3 and our 7, and our 5 and our 3. Okay. And we can get rid of that marker. We've got 1 and 3 here, so this has to be 4 and 3. That's got to be a 4. And can we do anything with these columns now that we have a bunch of stuff missing? 1s, where does the 1 go? It has to go here. What else do we need? We need a 3, so it has to go here, and this last digit should just be a given. It's a 9, so it is, and it's going to give us our 1 and our 9. These have to be 8 and 5, and therefore this is 8 and 5. That's no longer an 8, so this is. Let's get that stuff out of here. We've got a 2, 4, 6 here, so this has to be a 1, this has to be a 2. This can't be a 2, and it has to be consecutive 3, so therefore it's a 4. No 4s, this is a 5, it has to be consecutive with the 6 and the 2 and 3 and 4. No 6s. And was there anything else cutting across? No, not necessarily. Okay, now that 4, let's finish off our 6 and our 4. These two digits have to be 2 and 6. Somehow that is not finalized. No. All right, let's look elsewhere. We must be down to pretty much Sudoku, right? At least I have to hope so, because this solve is taking much longer than I had. Well, not anticipated, because I don't really anticipate any solve taking a given amount of time, but once I was moving on this thing, I thought it would be done quite a while ago. But hey, that happens. Sometimes we hit road bumps and we have to keep moving. So there we go, 3 and 7. Excuse me. 6, this hopefully finishes it all out. That 3 is going to give me 1 and a 3, so therefore this has to be 2 and 4. This has to be 4 and 2. This has to be 5 and 4. The 2 gives me my 1 and 2. And we are down to the last couple of digits, so let's finalize them. This has to be 1, and this has to be 5. There we go. Your solution is correct. That took forever, it should have said underneath there, but 44 minutes essentially. A little bit less because I read out the rules and all that kind of good stuff. But excellent puzzle. I just could not spot where I was supposed to be looking for a couple of things, and they were fairly obvious if you just looked in the right area. Like this 9-8 was the big one that really stuck me for a little while. But again, excellent puzzle. I really enjoy these quadruples. I don't see a ton of them anymore. I think I used to see more of them back when I was just doing all this stuff for fun. Well, I'm still doing all this for fun, but now you guys get to see me do it and laugh at me and all that kind of good stuff when I look stupid, which is always fun. Anywho, excellent puzzle. Really enjoyed it. Skeptical Mario, another good puzzle from them. I hope you all enjoyed that one. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.